This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
And in Tunisia, the central bank is optimistic of a gradual recovery in growth in the second half of this year. However, it has warned that a surge in COVID-19 cases caused by the second wave of the virus could hammer its ailing economy. Tunisia has been grappling to reverse a decade of sluggish growth and high unemployment. It saw its GDP shrink by 21.6% in the second quarter after imposing a costly pandemic-induced lockdown in March. From Tunis, here's CGTN's Adnan Shaushi with the details.
Tunisian authorities affirmed that the first wave of COVID-19 was disastrous to the country's ailing economy that has been crippled by high debt and deteriorating public services, and which was made worse by the global coronavirus outbreak. The Central Bank of Tunisia is, however, forecasting a slow recovery following the resumption of economic activities, but estimates that this recovery would only partially compensate for the sharp drop in activity recorded in the first quarter of 2020, after its GDP shrank 11.9% compared to the same period in 2019. Economists are, however, warning of a severe impact of the second wave of COVID-19.
All the economic indicators should take into consideration the second phase of the wave. The second crisis will even be worse than the first one. It will require more drastic measures than the first crisis.
Earlier this month, the central bank lowered its key interest rate by 50 base points to 6.25% for the main refinancing operations, 5.25% for the overnight deposit facility, and 7.25% for the marginal lending facility in a bid to stimulate investment and push faltering growth. But experts say the move is not enough to jumpstart the economy.
This measure is very commendable, but very weak given the current situation. The key interest rate must be lowered in a very significant manner, and all at once, because economic operators and investors are aware that the central bank will soon have to lower even more the key interest rates. Therefore, investors and businesses will have to wait for the right moment. But that will halt the economy from a quick recovery.
Tunisian lawmakers and Finance Commission members at the central bank emphasized that the latest available economic indicators show a gradual recovery in industrial production and foreign trade. However, the recovery of the tourism sector and related services remains hampered by the persistence of the coronavirus crisis.
Tunisia's main economic partners in Europe are affected by a deep crisis. The growth rate is -7 and -10 in some European countries. Consequently, industrial production and foreign trade cannot improve significantly, while the result of tourism and services will remain negative because people are not traveling due to the pandemic.
The central bank revealed in its note on economic and monetary developments that loans to the economy grew by 4.3% in July 2020, compared to 6.2% in 2019, taking advantage of measures taken since March 2020 to limit the negative impact of the COVID-19 crisis. Experts assert that investments have not recovered due to the repercussions of the pandemic, as well as the social and political instability in the country. The central bank has urged the new government to implement structural economic reforms to improve the business climate. Adnan Shaushi, CGTN, Tunis.